we're kind of waking up to the fact that, especially during an election year, it's not politics as normal. It's not. But somehow, some way, Gregory, somehow, some way, I was able to pass a bill. I'm not, it took a miracle. I don't even know if we talked about it the last time we were on. It's House Bill 3286. It is called the Homicide Prevention Act. And what it does is strengthens our stalking laws. So right before this passed, really hadn't gone into effect yet, November 1st, but before it passed, we had some of the weakest stalking laws. And what happened, the idea came to me, and we might have spoken about this. I think I'd already been working on it last time I talked to you, but I may have not been. I've been working on it for a year now with a victim who's a constituent who has been stalked for 20 straight years, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop it with the current laws. They had been stalked underground. So no, they're not anywhere. You can't find them, and that's purposeful protection, trying to make sure that they're protecting themselves. I'm not even using their correct pronouns because honestly, I don't want anybody knowing it's he, she, they, whatever. I say they now. And that's crazy. That really hit me. Even though I was working on a recess bill, a recess requirement bill, and my own little pieces of things I was trying to do, specifically trying to empower teachers to fight back against these standardized tests, or empower parents. Bro, it took over, and really it was because the victim's very, very driven. The victim had done research already and had looked into other states, which I wish we would do a lot more often. And Wisconsin was the state that had the gold standard for stalking laws. So I started having weekly meetings online, Zoom, with the victim, a public defender from Wisconsin, and an assistant DA from Wisconsin. So a very broad group. The assistant DA who wrote the bill. And so we decided that we're just going to put a little Wisconsin in Oklahoma, and let's get the pieces going on that. I always talk about how important it is to build relationships, no matter what the person, may have think here or whatever, if we don't get along politically. So I already knew one thing that's cool is that experience is the best teacher. So who to go to for these types of issues. I did not think this was going to be my bill, Gregory. It was an election year. And I was like, there's just no way that a Democrat can get a bill passed. There's just no way. So I sold the idea off to J.J. Humphrey, who is very, very out here. Let's be honest. We all know who he is. Bigfoot guy. He's out there. But he's my friend, too. We befriended each other through our shared concern, if you want to say that, over Epic. And so, again, we found ways that we could kind of, see eye to eye. And he also is so much so himself that he's not, I don't look at him as a politician. At least I know what I have straight in front of me, right? He shoots me straight. He's just like, well, Rosecrants, oh, great. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And so we kind of have a weird friendship, and I brought the idea to him. And he's like, sure, you know what? I'll show up to a couple of these meetings and I'll author the bill, and you're going to be co-authored. It'll be beautiful. Well, that all happened, but he was really busy working on some criminal justice stuff, and we can only have 8 bills. So really, honestly, everything's running smoothly. And he called real quick and he was like, hey, I already have 8 bills. I need to switch this back to somebody else. And I was like, okay, what other Republican do you know that could take this? No one else. We had already put the legwork in. There was no way. He goes, you got to take it. And I was like, it's going to die. He's like, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you, this is going to be, you just made this a real uphill battle, buddy. And so it flipped back to me, like already after session started. So I had to get it, on a committee. Luckily, it was his committee, so that wasn't a big deal. And also, he really did work hard on the other side trying to sell this idea. And what the bill does, now, it wasn't super popular in my caucus, and that's because it created a new felony. And I don't like creating new felonies. I think the criminal justice system needs some major, major help out here. I know for a fact it is a sick system right now. However, we saw in Wisconsin that they had done this. It wasn't in statute, but they put a piece in, kind of a criminal justice reform piece of sending out a stalking warning letter to whoever's been investigated and found to be stalking somebody, as kind of a warning. Hey, we are investigating you. We've seen all these things through statute. You need to stop, or you're going to get a felony. And so I fought really hard to add that and to keep that into the bill in statute, really make it a criminal justice piece. Yes, we're throwing the book at you should you go past that letter. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that letter is more the progressive piece that I try to fight for. And it stayed in. And we got, oh my goodness. It was the rare J.J. Humphrey / Senator Bergstrom bill, Rosecrants bill. These people are very, very far right. We don't see eye to eye on anything. I believe that even Bergstrom is pro voucher. But again, I met him. I talked to him. He reminded me of my dad. Nice guy, right? None of us are up there being mean, except for maybe Nathan Dahm. And that's like, that's it. So he decided that he was going to go ahead and be the Senate author. And it split my Democratic caucus. But again, our numbers are so tiny that it didn't really do much. So it passed. The governor signed it. But all that was not as easy as what I'm saying. It was all encompassing, but the fight was worth it because, again, the victim and the victims that I hope to help in the future will now have another tool. And we're going to have a ceremonial signing here on August 10th. And we'll have the YWCA coming in, Jan Peary. She's amazing. She runs the women's shelter in Oklahoma City. Just an amazing human being who has been a big fan of this. And another thing, we kept it under the radar. You almost had never heard of this. And what my thinking was, everything's politics, Gregory. And so I thought, if the other side thinks that I'm trying to get a victory lap for my election, they'll kill it. So I didn't do that. I kept, relying on the people that were pushing it on the other side of the aisle, kept my name out of it, even though it's me. And when it passed, then I took a victory lap. I was like, we did it. But that's a strategy that I figured works or may not. JJ told me it was going to pass no matter what, but I was like, bro, you're not leadership. You don't know. So it was a big deal. That was the one bill I got passed, but it was probably one of my biggest bills that I've ever worked on when it comes to the what it can do. So sorry that was so long. I talk a lot.
No, that's good.
My coffee.
That's good.
But yeah, so there was that. I was preoccupied with that, but it was ugly as well, bro. It was just an ugly session. You had that quick victory with the voucher, so it felt like it was going to be promising, and then just bill after bill after bill after bill of just crap, and it was just like, oh my god. Like a lot of us Democrats had that 1,000-yard stare, like just like, oh my god, another one, and then we all know, as a matter of fact, after all those attacks from the Republicans who voted no on the vouchers, it's coming back. 2023. Return of the freaking rise of the empire, whatever you want to call it. That's what's going to happen. And so we've got to prepare for that right now too. And it's going to be an interesting session. 23 is going to be crazy, but it won't be an election session. So we'll see if that changes things.